Hey VC, this is Carlos from As the Table Turns. I wanted to do a video on an artist that I have an obsession about right now, and wanting to collect everything that she's done. And that is Dorothy Ashby. You can tell by the title of the video that it is Dorothy Ashby. And right now we are listening to the Rubaiyet of Dorothy Ashby. I don't know what Rubaiyet means. I've not looked it up yet. But maybe it's the story of Dorothy Ashby, the essence of Dorothy Ashby. I have no idea. Anyway, I will talk about this album at the end. I will begin with her first record, and I have her first three, I believe. I have her first three records, then it skips. I don't have her self-titled, that I think Noble Records I don't think I know, he just showed it on one of his Heavy Rotations videos. If you are subscribed to his Heavy Rotations channel, he talked about her self-titled album that he found in one of his honey holes, as he calls it. I don't have that one. I don't have another one. I forget what it's called, and I don't have Afro Harping, which is kind of her biggest one that everybody knows about, everybody talks about, everybody posts all the time. But anyway, we can begin at the beginning, and that is Dorothy Ashby with Frank West. Frank West is from Count Basie's orchestra, I believe. Shoot, I don't know about that for sure. I'm pretty sure it's Count Basie, but it could be Duke Ellington's orchestra. I'm not sure. Anyway, Frank West plays flute. He's actually a multi-instrumentalist, I believe. He plays lots of different instruments, but on this he plays his flute, which is what I believe he's known for. This is on New Jazz. This is a reissue that I think Real Gone Music did. Real Gone Music, something like that. Anyway, but yeah, I believe Real Gone Music came out with a reissue of this. I think that's what this is. But yeah, this was originally on New Jazz, which New Jazz their titles are usually very expensive. The originals are very expensive because they didn't get a whole lot of reissues. Like the Prestige series got lots of reissues from OJC, and a few other labels got reissues from OJC, like Fantasy. But New Jazz, it didn't get a whole lot of reissues. I think they reissued a few different New Jazz titles, but that's about it. So anyway, this album, and I would say her first 3-4 albums, something like that, maybe 5, because like I said, I don't have some of them, like the self-titled and another one before Afro Harping, are very jazz-based, just straightforward jazz music. What she plays is the harp. And at first, a lot of the people that she knew at the time were reluctant to, because at first I think she played the piano, she played several different instruments, and she can play several different instruments, but she really wanted to focus on the harp, and a lot of the jazz musicians that she was hanging out with at the time were very reluctant to play with her because they were like, harp is a very classical instrument, it needs to stay in that, and it can't be used for jazz, you don't know what you're talking about. But she really felt like it could, and what she did was she put together her own little group, and they either did a small little tour or just did some concerts here and there, but the people that she was hanging out with at the time, other jazz artists, would see her play with this little trio that she had, and they were amazed how she was able to implement it in a jazz setting. And I think it's amazing in a jazz setting. So the harp can definitely be used for jazz. And that's what these albums are. These are all amazing. This is the Jazz Harpist by Dorothy Ashby, with Frank West, Wendell Marshall, Eddie Jones, and Ed Thigpen. The Frank West one, the other Frank West one, was with Frank West, Herman Wright, and Roy Haynes. So I think Roy Haynes is the one she hung out with a lot, and he was kind of reluctant to have the harp in any of his groups. But anyway, amazing album here, the Jazz Harpist. Cool shot, the harp in her hands. But beautiful player. Yeah, great music. Here, on this one, hip harp. She plays again with Frank West, Herman Wright, Art Taylor is on here on the drums, and I think Art Taylor and Roy Haynes, they switch off on drums on this one. So she's got great lineups. And in here she's doing jazz standard. She does Moonlight in Vermont, very beautiful on this one. But yeah, all these, I'll say this, I don't think she ever misses. None of these songs are like, that's not a great song, that was kind of a miss. I skip over that one. They're all beautiful. She's just able to implement the harp in such a way that it is a harp, and you can tell it's a harp. She's not trying to play it like it's a bass or some other instrument, stringed instrument. She plays it like a harp, but she just knows what to do with it in a jazz setting. All right. This next one is Soft Winds, the swinging harp of Dorothy Ashby. Once again, very jazzy. On this one, she has Terry Pollard on vibes, Herman Wright on the bass, and Jimmy Cobb on the drums. I mean, she's got Jimmy Cobb, Art Taylor, Roy Haynes, some amazing drummers and bassists with her. So this is where it skips, and I think, so that's where it skips. I have her first four, then it skips from here, from that album, all the way to this one where I don't have those three. So she does Afro harping. I'll talk about Afro harping. And that one, she's very, she brings in these beats that are very rhythmic. And I would also say, I think from that point on, she starts implementing this more soul funk and almost beginnings of hip hop type beats in her music. And Afro harping, she does it. Afro harping has been sampled a lot of different times for different hip hop artists that have wanted to use her music. And I think from there she starts implementing this very rhythmic, very cool beats, but then this harp on top. It's just it's so cool. This is one of those albums that's kind of like that as well. I mean, it's still very beautiful, and she's able to go in and out of this like beauty, but yet it's like, it has this rhythm that you can kind of get down to. And I would say by the time I get to Phoenix, she also has this very, here, I don't know what year, this is 1969. So she also has this very soul funk, but like this 70s vibe to like late 60s, early 70s vibe to her music. I'll almost kind of put her in the same area as David Axelrod, where he has these arrangements that are very cool, but he's got this beat that's just like killer, like, because Dr. Dre obviously used one of his songs, The Edge, for the Chronic 2001. Yeah, so I mean, she just is able to do that, and I kind of put this album, probably Afro harping, and this next album in there as well. But yeah, by the time I get to Phoenix, I think that's a really cool song. But like I said, all these songs are really amazing. Now we'll get to the one that we are listening to right now. And I'd say, once again, she kind of stretched herself on this one, where she's implementing different instruments that are more like world music. She's like bringing world music, like Middle Eastern type type vibes and also Asian type vibes. I believe this is an Asian instrument here. Yeah, so on this, you know, she has, who's all on this one? Does it say? I don't know if it says who's all on this one. Fred Katz, Lenny Druss, and Ed Green. She's got some different people on this one, but I think she kind of went in a definitely different direction on this album. It's very, like I said, world music, mixed with that, like that funky beat though still, and then mixed with her jazzy harp. And she's just able to mix it and come in and out of all of it. So very cool. This is probably my favorite album of all of hers. I do like Afro harping, but I would say that this is still a little bit better, just because of that world music aspect and the fact that she's just able to kind of go swoop in and out of these different genres all together. I think it's just amazing. So definitely check her out. Another thing that I did not mention, she sings in this one. I don't know if she sings in Afro harping. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, I've listened to this one definitely the most, but she sings in this. She has a beautiful voice. It's funny. I could definitely, she could sing standards. She could honestly put out an album of her singing standards and it would be great and I would buy it. But she's got that kind of voice where I could also have her or hear her, which I think she did do a Christmas thing, but I can definitely hear her singing some standard Christmas carols. And like, she has that type of voice. But anyway, definitely check Dorothy Ashby out. Love her. Can't wait to get the other 3 albums. And then I think there's a couple albums after this one that she still has too. She has a live album as well. So I need to get all of them, but the middle 3 I definitely need to get. Anyway, Dorothy Ashby, go check her out. Very cool. All right, VC, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.